Eins, zwei, drei, vier, Deutschland ist hier!
This is a shirt with a story to tell. It's a World Cup women's soccer shirt with a story to tell. As we move through, you'll get that as we get closer to the end. But welcome into the preview show of the 2023 Women's World Cup Australia, New Zealand. By the way, have you got a boomerang? Have you got a boomerang? I got a boomerang. Have a look at this boomerang. It might not all come through because of the glistening colours, but that's my boomerang. And it's flat on one side, that's the other side. But how do you throw a boomerang? Pretty simple, quick lesson. That's the method. You throw it this angle, and just there, it's the flick of the wrist. Flick of the wrist. So it's literally, boom. Didn't see that slow motion. Here we go. That's how you throw it. Anyway, boomerang in hand. It's going to be a lucky omen for somebody. Anyway, it's going to be a fantastic World Cup. Do you like the Women's World Cup? Do you not like the Women's World Cup? What's your take on the Women's World Cup? Who's your team? And I'm right down the middle. I'm telling you now, I may have a little bit of a slice for Canada, obviously, because I'm living in Canada and I've lived here most of my life. Literally, most of my life, I've been in the Maple Leaf Zone. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now, let me tell you. I love living in Canada. I hope you love living where you are and that you got a happy house and a happy home too. So that's all I'm saying. But with the World Cup, as any World Cup, I don't care who wins. I really don't care who wins. I really don't care who wins. I just love the World Cup. And face it, Women's World Cup, Men's World Cup, they're all full of drama. They're all full of good stuff. Great goals, sadness, tears of joy, tears of sadness. All the emotions that you get in the Men's World Cup, you get in the Women's World Cup too. But this one's going to be very different. We've got some great facts as we move through this. We've got predictions coming. You're going to love that. I'll tell you who's dropping out of both groups and all the groups and every group from 8H. I'll tell you who's going through. And also, we're going to do a profile on the top scorers all time in women's soccer. Those ladies that have scored the most goals, the top shots, the hot shots, the ladies that know where the net is. Bang, in it goes. Talking a lot of stuff. But anyway, it's 32 teams down under, Australia and in New Zealand, from the 20th of July to the 20th of August. And it's going to be quite a battle. There's a few teams that you could say should be in the mix of it. We'll get to that pretty soon. The final plays out at Stadium Australia in Sydney on August 20th. It's a beautiful stadium. Take a look. So it's 8 groups of 4 teams, and the top 2 teams advance. Now, let's talk a little history before we move along. Previous winners, 4-2-1-1. What are you talking about, Steve? It's simple. In the history of the Women's World Cup Finals, and this is the 9th edition, numero nuevo, 9 edition, the 9th edition. The first one was 1991. But anyway, we have Australia, New Zealand hosting magical teams, and some of these teams have won it before, but there's only been 4. Now, USA's won 4 of those titles. That was 1991, 1999, 2015, and 2019. In between, Germany won a couple, and that was in 2003 and 2007. Keep listening. And then after that, you could say Norway won it in 1995, another European team winning the World Cup. And that was literally when Norway was the big team. And I mean, the big team. They were all massive tall. But they came through with the aerial game and won it. And then in 2011, there was a heartbreak for a big US team when Japan went on to win the Women's World Cup in 2011. So USA 4, Germany 2, Norway 1, and Japan also won World Cup. So fantastic. And that was an amazing display when Japan won that World Cup. I remember that finals very well. And I got to say, it was a top Women's World Cup final. Now, on Real, take a look at the predictions and look who's dropping out of the groups from A to H. Enjoy. I'll be back in about a minute. So firstly, Group A, keep watching. Yep, one more to go. This is who I see going through from Group A. Group B, another 2 are going to disappear. Firstly, and who next? Leaving Canada, Australia in Group B. Group C, there you go. Spain, Japan. Group D, moving through now. Who's going to go? Now it's going to be leaving England and Denmark in Group D. Group E, Portugal's gone by the wayside, leaving USA and Holland in Group E. Group F, 3 to go. France and Brazil go to Group G now. Argentina's gone oops, leaving Sweden and Italy, and finally Group H. Morocco's gone, Colombia's gone, Germany, South Korea. There you go. So, looking at the groups, all groups you can find at ultimatesoccershow.com online at the back page, the Women's 2023 World Cup page, just where all the groups are and where the information will be entailed. And also on the front page, you'll see stuff about the 2023 World Cup as well. Go there now, ultimatesoccer.com online. You'll see some of the lovely artwork that I've got in behind me. Bruce, beautiful job. And let's face it, I'm looking, as the reel just showed you, Norway taking Switzerland into the next round. Australia, Canada as well in Group B. Group C, Spain and Japan, Group D. England, Denmark, or possibly China. It could be a Chinese entrance. Don't write them off. Then Group E, you got to say USA, Holland. F is Brazil and France, as it should be. Sweden, Italy in Group G. And then Germany, Deutschland, and Korea, South Korea, in Group H. Now, the average temperatures, this is something you might not know. And a lot of people are thinking, well, it's Australia and it's New Zealand, mate. It's going to be bloody hot, right? Not exactly correct. This is quasi the winter season down under. And that's where people would rather wear warmer gear than colder gear. Average temperatures, not perfect, but average temperatures in Australia for some of these games that are coming on through the World Cup will be in between 15 and 20 degrees. So that's not that bad, but it can get a bit chillier down towards 10 on a windy day. Doesn't always get that way, but remember, it's winter in Australia and New Zealand. Now in New Zealand, so it's, like I say, 15 to 20 degrees down under in Australia. New Zealand, well, it's a smaller place and it's a little bit further out at sea, you know, and it's a little bit cooler. Anywhere between 14 and 18 degrees you can experience on the island there, north or south, and about 14 to 18 degrees is what you're looking at. Overnight times, it could be 9 degrees or 8 degrees, both places. So like I say, it's the cold time of the year. Interesting point for you. Now, let's have a look at the top scorers all time from the women's game. When I come back, I'll be telling you about this shirt and the story and where it came from and all about it. Okay, enjoy Women's Hot Shots. You've got about 3 minutes. A lot of stuff. Take it on. Enjoy it. Comments down below like you always do. Cheers. So here we are, the hottest shooters of all time in the women's game. Take a look, top to bottom. I've picked the top 10, and those are the top 10. And if you look closely, just in the teams, 4 out of the top 5 are from the US, 5 out of the top 7 are from the USA. So that's amazing. And obviously Alex Morgan's still knocking around, putting the goals in the back of the net, so she can still climb high. May well, with a little bit of luck, lot of luck, finish first. I don't think she will, but looking at the top, Christine Sinclair, Canada, 190 goals, 322 caps, 0.59 goals per match average. Started at 2000. She's still there, and her 100th goal was Feb 20th, 2010. Now keep weaving through there. I'm going to pick off a couple of stories and I'll talk through you as we go through. But Abby Wambach, definitely for me with the 0.72. She's definitely in the frame to be the best ever, but 6 goals short of 190 is the difference really on the day. It's the number of goals you scored, let's put it that way. Who cannot remember, or who cannot forget Mia Hamm, yeah? I mean, what a star she was of the day. Carly Lloyd as well, Christine Lilly as well, all super. Birgit Prinz from Deutschland. I had the opportunity to assist a few games with the German national team at that time, and that was a great job I had. Anyway, moving on. Alex Morgan in 7th, 121 goals. She's still active. 0.6 on the goals per match. Number 100 was the 4th of April 2019. So she's really in contention to keep going and become a fantastic striker on the history book. She is already, but I mean, it can only keep getting better. And then in 8th, this is what I wanted to get to. Julie Fleeting from Scotland. 116 goals in 121 games for a 0.96 goals per match average. 0.96. So literally right there, and she was active 1996 to 2011, yeah? She's literally your highest goals per match football player ever in the women's game. Okay, remember that, Julie Fleeting. So moving on, number 9, Vieira da Silva. You know her as Marta, and she's got 115 goals, 172.67 average. Not bad, eh? Still going. But here's the kicker. Down in 10th, Maisha Dabara from Jordan. 113 goals in 110 games. That's 1.03 goals per match. Started in 2005. She's still active. Now, here's where I sort of have a red flag, per se, and it's because of the goal number 100, unknown. Well, if the goal number 100 is unknown, I say there's a red flag on that file completely. So I won't say foul, but I'm just not happy with not having 100 not being known, because everything should be known by the goal. So it leaves me a little bit suspicious about the record of Maisha Jabara from Jordan. I'm not saying it's not correct. I'm just saying I'm suspicious that it's not correct. Anyway, top scorer all time, Christine Sinclair, Canada. Now you know some more, and I'll tell you what, that's a lot of information to take in. Just keep reading it. It makes a lot of fun. So there you go, Christine Sinclair, top of the tree, and the story about Julie Fleeting. That's interesting, isn't it, eh? From Scotland. Very, very, very impressive. Now, your top bets, if you're thinking about who's the top teams, what's the order, you know, what's the ranking in the tournament, what's the ranking in FIFA? Well, you can look at FIFA rankings and it'll give you a rough idea. But this is what I'm looking at on the betting scale of things, like who's top to bottom. Top bets. USA to win 2-1, 2-1. England to win 5-1. Germany, France 7-1. Sweden 8-1. Then you've got a group of Canada, Brazil, Australia and Holland coming in at 10-1. So that's how it shakes down. But I tell you what, don't write off Australia doing something big here. Not necessarily New Zealand. And you would expect to see the US in the final. Wouldn't it be interesting if it was a US-Australia final? That would be a real tester. And remember, Australia, New Zealand, it's home territory. They're used to the atmosphere. They're used to everything. They know the food. They know the temperature. They're at home. Other people have got to travel. And even though the weather may be the same from zone to zone at certain times, or people do experience a more colder winter in other places like me, it doesn't always work out like that. And remember, a World Cup is climatic. And if you look at the men's game as well, South American teams have troubles winning World Cups in Europe and vice versa, etc., etc. So do a little in-depth detailing. But I tell you, those that live and work in that region normally do well. So keep that in mind. And will New Zealand win their first ever women's game at a World Cup? They're 12-3. That's 12 losses and 3 draws. Still yet to get a win. And there's not much thought about that coming this time around either. But hey, wish them luck. But on the day, you got to say, it's going to be a fantastic World Cup. We've got great players to look at. There's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of things that we want to see, and a lot of stories that we're going to be telling. And on that line, this shirt is from the 2003 World Cup, 2007 World Cup winning time champions, Germany, Deutschland. How did I get it? I was lucky enough to be called upon to take care of the national team by being the liaison officer, going around the world for a little bit, taking care of business with them, making sure their needs were met. And everything was arranged, because I'll tell you this, if you get anywhere near the German Federation, Deutschland, Fußballbund, the Deutsche Fußballbund, you just know that you walked into a room full of nothing but absolute perfect professionals. They don't play to finish second, they only play to win. But this shirt was given to me, and all the team signed it. And Birgit Prince is right there. That's Birgit Prince right there. And Sylvia Knight, the coach, she was absolutely fantastic. So there's a story about the shirt. Let's get ready for the World Cup. I think we're going to get a top, probably the best one ever. And I told you last game we had was the Gold Cup, and I said that was the best Gold Cup ever. I think this Women's World Cup is definitely in frame to be the best World Cup ever. I think there's going to be some blowouts. I think there's going to be some really big scores and some tears of sadness when they get kicked out of the tournament with massive, massive losing records. There's also going to be some massive, massive top games as well. When it all comes down to it and the group phase is done and dusted and we see who's into the knockout round, it's coming up to the quarterfinals where it really gets serious. So until that point, we're going to have to see where it goes. But I'm going to enjoy every minute of it, and we're going to bring it as we do every tournament here on Ultimate Soccer. All you need to do is spread the word, share, like, subscribe, and like. Hit that notification button and come back for more. And let us know who you are picking to win this Women's World Cup. Who's your team? Come on, who's your player of the event? Who do you think it's going to be? Is Alex Morgan going to be the superstar? Is it Christine Sinclair? Will Marta be that? Wendy Renard? It could be anybody at that tournament. But someone is going to step up and have a big, massive tournament for their nation. I wonder who it's going to be. Good luck to all the teams, literally. I'll tell you what, like I say, I'm looking forward to it. And tell me what you get out of the women's game, whether you enjoy it or not. Let's get some dialogue going here. But at the end of the day, I'm watching it. I hope you are too. And I hope you get out of it what I will get out of it, because it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, drama, tears of joy, and tears of sadness. Get ready for it. It's coming on the 20th. Not far away. Cheers.